The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Hey, it's Brian Sewell, the mortgage doctor, in the house today. It's weird coming back on, man. This is my third week in a row being back, about a year off, but glad to be back with the Mortgage Doctor show. And I got a special guest with me. You know, we always talk about the purpose of this show. What we try to bring to the table, helping everyone, whoever wants it, to accomplish the American dream of home ownership. And we realize in some ways it could be more of a challenge now to have that ownership come in. But we do that through education. I call it the 3 E's: education, encouragement, and empowerment. And those 3 things is what we try to do to help you be able to become a homeowner and build wealth. And all of that being said, you know, moving the mic around. All that being said, I'm happy to introduce a good friend of mine, Philip Owens with Coldwell Banker. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Doing well. How you doing, Brian?
Good. Phil is a former investor, or still an investor.
Yeah.
He's an educator. He just really has a good passion for helping clients buy homes and invest in homes. So, Phil, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well, you know, I've been doing real estate since 2017. I started out as a leasing agent, and then I also started as an investor, right? I love doing real estate ever since I was like a little child. I would always look at the different websites or look in the newspaper, just looking at the different buildings, and I would just say, hey, I wonder how much this would sell for. And I would just guess in my mind what it would sell for, or and it always would sell for around the same price or more. So now I'm with a Coldwell Banker, where I'm a real estate broker. And I'm still an investor, as Brian mentioned. You know, one of the reasons why I became a real estate broker was because as an investor, I had so many different agents toying with me, and I was frustrated.
I love that word, toying.
Yeah, and I just felt like, I was like, you know what, I could just do this myself and get paid the commission on top of that. And then it just ventured off into helping people, because before I was even a broker, I still would help people. People would come to me, ask me questions, and I'm like, well, I'm not an agent, but however, like, that house right there is nice, you know, because it's all about making sure that you are appreciated, right? Because real estate is generational wealth, right? Generational wealth. So you want to be able to appreciate your assets that you buy.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that. That, to me, that's one of the biggest things that gets overlooked. So many times I see homeowners, and I'm going to just speak, you know, we always speak the truth, but we can't always, I think, we have to be politically correct sometimes. Mm-hmm. And let's just talk about minority home ownership. That is down. I mean, it's down significantly, and there's a lot of things that's going on behind the scene that's hurt minority ownership. But part of this, the issue is, you know, if I can speak from us being minorities, right, is that sometimes we give up, or we just like, hey, it didn't work out, we had to work a little harder. You know, anything in life that's worth something, you got to work at.
Absolutely.
You know, there's different ways we can work at things. So, you know, this is for everyone. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter, purple, green. I do truly believe, though, that we can use this piece to become wealthy and pass it on to the next generation.
Absolutely.
Right? Making it a little easier. So I love that you said it's about building wealth. And just about every week or every other week, I come on here and I show this little net worth thing that shows you how much you'll be worth. I mean, how much your house will go up in value, whether it's 9 years, 10 years. We showed that last week. Maybe if we have time today, we'll show that again. But I think it's so important that we understand, or that we explain to people, and us in general, if I can say that, what it means for home ownership, and the things that you can do with it. And, you know, it makes all the difference in the world, especially in markets like this. You know, you hear all the bad news on, you know, as far as rates going up higher, and they have gone up, but relatively they're still not terrible. But there's been some things that's going on that kind of slowed down the process of being able to buy a home or making it maybe a little bit less affordable. But at the same time, if you're a homeowner, if you took advantage of homeownership, there's a lot of equity that you built up that you can turn into use to maybe tap into some of the investor things that you were going to discuss more.
Absolutely.
Or if you needed to do some debt consolidation, which we can talk about a little bit later. But why don't you talk to us a little bit about how you feel about this current market?
Right now, the current market is really tough.
Yeah. I mean,
we're short on inventory right now. I'm getting ready to get back into rehabbing because of that fact, but the prices has gone up. So you hear people say yesterday's price is not today's price.
Right.
They're 100% correct, right? I have some investors that come in and they're looking for prices that are maybe before COVID prices, and those prices are long gone. And I mean, it is what it is. It has appreciated, and it seemed like COVID just like accelerated the value of people's property within like 20 years and within a few years.
Right.
So that's what I'm seeing right now. I have like 7 different clients that we're working with right now, and it's tough. We're trying to find them places that's affordable with their budgets, as well as meeting what they want in their house, because everyone has a dream home, and to me, like I tell my clients, I'm like, you want to keep this house, especially my younger clients. I tell them, like, you want to be able to see your house appreciate in 5 years and then sell it.
Yeah.
And get more, get a better house.
Hey, Damon, how you doing? Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And so when you talk about this market, and we didn't practice this, so I'm leading him a little bit. I'm gonna lead the witness a little bit. But you said something interesting to me, and you said a lot of things that were interesting. But one thing I wrote down, you said you're going to start a rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, in any market, there's opportunity to build wealth. You immediately went back to say, hey, I'm start rehabbing, and there's some things you can maybe you find a house that need a little TLC, and then you fix it up, and then now it's worth more.
Yes.
Right. So now there's opportunities in each market that where we don't always see. And, I embrace these markets. I remember in 2008, how tough that was. The market crashed and most people lost a lot of equity, lost money in their 401ks, investor. A lot of people lost their jobs. I felt that, and I'm going to let you kind of share a little bit too, because I remember you kind of telling me some of your story, and I think that they need to hear that. If you're okay with sharing a little bit of some things you've had to overcome.
Which one?
Well, you got to. You're like, which one? Which story I had to overcome? But we all feel that. Like, so we talk about like with pressures of 2008, the market went down, right?
Yeah.
We had to deal with some things. I closed my company and I had to start over. But there was opportunities in that market because the market went down and it allowed you to buy more properties. In this market, though, like the number one thing that you just said, I wrote it down, was inventory is short.
Yeah. And
back in 2008, we had a lot of inventory, right? Yeah. So those houses lost value, or there was too many, right? Now the lending guidelines are stricter, and you can't do a ninja loan or no income, no job, no asset. Yeah. So you have to be able to prove the ability to repay. So now their guidelines have cleaned up, but I shouldn't say strict. They cleaned up things. So all of that being said, you don't have enough inventory. Part of the reason is because I think what you said there, you said that a lot of equity that would take like maybe 15, 20 years happened in 2.
Yep.
And so now you have a lot of people that's sitting on low rates and high income and high values and higher net worth. And so, that hurts the inventory a little bit. You kind of got to give them an incentive to sell their house.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, like my first, I fixed and flipped 2 homes about 2017, 2018. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, I mean, the value was okay. The market was okay. But however, like I was dealing with different agents that wasn't necessarily, I'm not here to like talk about anybody. I'm not gonna say any names, but they weren't looking for my best interests. And then I also had to deal with working with different contractors, and I was new to the game, completely new. And when I ended up going through about 3 contract teams. You could say 4 because they finished or whatever, but I had to deal with them. I had a younger team that came in that was really aggressive. I had a older team that was really slow. Literally took them, I want to say 14 days to put siding on. It wasn't until I woke up one morning to go check on the property, and I looked across the street. There was these people putting siding on their house, and when I got back home about 6:30, they were done.
That's good. Hey, hold on one second. I just made my Facebook public, so guys, share this. Whatever it was getting texted, and they can't see the show. It's public now. I don't know how it got private. So you guys should be able to see that now. So, but go ahead, share that story one more time. I apologize for missing that. I was doing that and getting there.
Sorry from the beginning.
Yeah, no. Well, you said you had a couple of bad.
I had a couple of bad contractors. I had older. I started off with the older people. I felt like they would have more season and have more experience or whatnot. But I realized that like 2 weeks into them putting siding on the house, one morning when I woke up and across the street there was people putting siding on the house, and when I got back home at about 6:30, they were done. But the people that was at my house were still working on the siding. Right. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm thinking this is normal or whatever. I'm going back and forth to work. But come to find out, like, siding only takes a day or two to get put up. So I had to go find another contractor team, which was younger, and they were a little bit more aggressive. And they were just doing some stuff that was a little shady. And I said I just couldn't get with.
So I'm gonna dig in a little bit more if you're okay with sharing.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's something that you need to think about too. So we talk about the positive things about buying real estate, and I do believe it's a huge advantage to buy.
Mm-hmm.
But dealing with some people that are maybe shady. What's up, Franklin? How you doing? Yep. That taper looks nice, man. I mean, it's clean. That beard is clean on that picture. But Franklin's a good friend. But think about it. If you're dealing with some shadiness, I'm just saying, let's call a spade. How do you overcome that? How do you prepare for that?
Well, I have friends in the community, but
they're still alive, right?
But no, it was good. I wanted to keep professional. I didn't want no one to get hurt or anything like that. But I just let them know, like, hey, man, your service is no longer needed. What I did pay attention to is I looked at from the first crew and the second crew who was all working, and I began to piece those crew together in order to make it right. So to make it work. And that's how we finished the house. I did have, just so happened my neighbor who does construction as well, he sent his team out to finish it. So that's how we was able to sell the house, because his team came through, just knocked the finishes out. Because But
you were able to recover it.
I was able to recover.
Just set you back a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, it also helped that guy actually opened up a door for me to get a second property, and that property was only $13,000.
That's not going on right now, y'all. Yeah. This is just something.
No, it's not going on now, but it saved me.
It saved you. Yeah. So here's the thing: that some of that is called life experiences, and you don't learn until you actually get into that. What we're trying to do is get you to take a step. Take one step, whether it's a 2-unit, 3-unit, 4-unit, or a house, depending on what you need. Hey, Ramon, take a step and be able to make a sound decision and be able to build wealth by buying real estate. Because if you didn't buy real estate, you wouldn't have been able to prepare and also have the experience to get the game more real estate.
That's right.
That's an opportunity to happen, to you because of that, but when we talk about this current market, going back to that, right? Because there are opportunities.
There are.
If you're a seller, let's talk to some sellers right now, because we get streamed all over. I think they do a lot in Michigan, Detroit, right? And in Illinois, Florida. So you're talking to some sellers right now that are sitting on the fence about maybe putting their house on the market.
Okay.
Why would you tell them it's a good time for them to sell a house?
I mean, right now, if you do the right, create the right environment and have give a great first impression, decluttering in the house, making it look nice, fresh paint, you can get a little bit more money than you would have got a couple years ago, because of the fact that it is lower inventory and people are looking for something that is a solid house that they can move into for their family, because you don't want nobody moving into your house that got issues. And people are looking for that. And that would take me to the next thing, would be like, if you were to put your house on the market, you would want to get a pre-inspection, right? Because you want to know what's wrong with your house. if it's something wrong that you could correct that could save you
Well,
money.
that's smart, actually, doing that ahead of time,
Yeah.
so you be prepared.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the buyers are going to do a home inspection,
Absolutely.
right? But you can kind of be prepared for what has to get fixed,
right.
depending on the type of loan they're going to do.
And some of those things are not even much to be fixed, and it can increase your value by 15, 20 grand just because you just put $2,000 into it.
Wow. Can you elaborate more on that? I mean, somebody hears that number, like 15, 20 grand. You put like, what do you mean? Like, give me an example of something that's not really expensive, which you can fix. Give me an investor tip.
I mean, you could probably look at, like, you're in the kitchen, you got your kitchen. You can create like backsplash on behind
Give us
the wall.
some curb appeal.
Yeah, some curb appeal. You can check out your shrubbery in the front for your curb appeal when you pull up.
Okay.
You can
also landscaping. Yeah.
You can also paint. Buy a paint
gun.
And that paint, when you do that with that paint gun, you think, oh, you're gonna be doing this all day. Now a paint gun's gonna go shh, it's gonna keep going, and you're gonna be done, within a couple of days just because of that paint gun. I've seen it done several times.
And it gives it a nice smell, nice look. That's some things on there. Hey, Tanisha, how you doing? Thanks for jumping in, guys. Hey, share the show. I got Philip Owens from Coldwell Banker with me. Also, Brian Sewell here with Cherry Creek Mortgage Division of Gill. We are trying to educate, encourage, and empower you to make sound decisions when it comes to buying a house and building wealth. So please share, and so we can give out, we can get to more people. I'm going to talk some strategies as far as, and you're going to help me with this, Phil, because I said you have to, about how to overcome some of the things as far as homeownership. So some of the things we hear all the time, Corduroy, yeah, how you doing, Corduroy? Say hi to Corduroy. The things we hear all the time is that, and we can just name one. I want to just attack them all, and you guys can ask questions. It's low inventory. I'm gonna talk to you guys how to fix that, right? That's one issue. Inventory. We hear higher rates. We can talk about that, right? Affordability, basically. Yeah. We hear not enough cash, right?
Yeah.
The down payment. We're gonna talk about that. Okay. Well, give me some more dilemmas of why you haven't purchased a home. You can feel you can come in there and
uncertainty, because a lot of times people who are buying a house, this is the first time buying a house,
right?
And you're only as good as your team, and you have to surround yourself with the right people. And if you don't know anybody, you're really going out there blind and saying, okay.
So uncertainty with your team and market.
Yeah,
I like that.
Which is why one of the reasons why I partnered with Brian.
I appreciate
because of the fact that I know him and I know what he's going to do, and he knows what I'm going to do, and we're going to fight tooth and nail for the client.
I like that, having a good team, and you can see that's one thing. What else? Credit is one. We always got to talk about credit, man, because I think that's such an important piece. I'm going to bring Renee is going to jump on later on with us. She's my loan partner. She's going to jump on into. So when we talk about the credit piece, and we'll spend some time on that later. I don't want to jump right into that because that seems to be, it's credit and cash usually the big problems right now because of the affordability part. But I think we can address all those things. I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm going to give you some solutions. Yeah. I can always talk about it. There's solutions to every problem.
That's right.
And we can talk about how to deal with those. So I got low inventory, high rates, down payment, uncertainty with your team and your market, credit. Give me some other, how you doing, Leslie? Give me some other hurdles.
It's like, if you're fresh out of college, you're like, I can't afford to buy a house, but you don't realize you can. There is
so maybe that college piece could be maybe just being educated, right? That you can, and then the affordability piece goes along with the down payment. Come on, y'all. Y'all can't just listen. I told you I grew up in a black church. We said yes and amen. We didn't say quiet. We weren't just quiet. So I need to hear from our guests. I need you to participate. What are some of the money down? Thank you, Leslie. So yeah, that is definitely one. We have that. What's another reason? We want to address all those reasons why you may be scared to buy a home and reasons why you might be scared to sell your home. I'm like, amen, you're right. We got to, what'd you say an amen to? That we went to a black church, you have to say yes and amen. Navigating bad info in the news. Oh God, that's
absolutely
so good. That's a good one.
That's very true.
Leslie, you should jump on the show with us and talk about this with us. I'm gonna have to have you on. Leslie's my accountability partner, our coaching group. But that is certain because you hear so many bad news, right? And it can just put you. Let's talk about that.
For example, I got a friend who he's high up at United or whatever, and he's just like he wanted the very beginning, he was like, "Phil, should I start looking at the house?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Well, I just read an article saying that the market is going to go down, and we should not. I shouldn't do it. I should just hold off." I said, "No." I said the reason why the market is going to continue to appreciate is because what happened in '08 is not the same thing that's happening now. We are being, I guess, tortured by post-COVID. But however, I told him that the prices will continue to appreciate. And, as well as, I said the interest rate may rise, which it has. But at the same time, the property's value has appreciated. I bought a house in February. And that house now, we bought it for $260, and now the house is worth $315. Like, seriously.
You did a little work to it too, right?
We did a little work.
But in how many months?
Since February.
That's crazy. Like it's crazy. So there's so much, and thank you guys for jumping in. The credit, Ramon, we're going to hit that one up because that's going to be one I'm going to make. I'll have Renee, if she can, jump on with us. We got some stories we want to share, but we talk about. Let's talk about the mindset, like what you said, and Leslie kind of brought it up. Well, let's keep it on here. False belief that waiting will save money and in pending cash, false information, and not realizing the refinance is a benefit later. There's so much to. Thank you. You guys are good. There's so much to unpack there. Let's come back to Leslie thing after we talk about this thing you talked about with United. Yeah. Because, and she mentioned too, is that we have this news, this false news. Yeah. Negativity or bad counsel can really mess you up.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to start preaching, but I am going to talk about one of my favorite scriptures, Psalms 1. And it talks about blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of the sinner, nor sit in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. Yeah. That counsel part, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. The ungodly does not just mean, okay, this person is a believer, so that's good counsel. Right. I believe ungodly means that ungodly belief. Because God talks about if there be any good thing, think on that. So people that dwell on negativity pull energy, and I get around those people too. So your friend at United, when you hear this negative news, there's negative news every week or every time. It's how you react to the negative news.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I mean, for example, there was a condo he was looking at downtown, and he was like, "I could get this now." And I was like, "Yes, you should get it now." Now we come back, fast forward, we talked like maybe last month. That same condo is up like $45,000.
And so he missed the opportunity. Because he was worried about just things coming around and waiting. And it's when you talk about Psalms 1, it's one of my favorite. When you talk about the reaction or how we deal with this stuff, right? The news, and I try not to watch news. I mean, we watch some of it in the morning. The news can drain you, and you share so many negative things. But I think owning property is a good thing. Absolutely. If you look at, and I don't have the stat in front of me, if you look at over 100 years, it's like 3 or 4 times that values have actually gone down. Most of the time, they go up. It's not a time when we had the Great Depression, we had 2008, right? Yeah. And I'm probably skipping a year or so, or a decade or so. But the thing is, 9 times out of 10, the values are going to go up. And the big difference, I think, and you can share more on this, between 2008 and let's say 2020, 23, is that we talked about this already. Inventory, right? Supply and demand. We all learned this. There was so much supply that the values had to go down. We didn't have well-qualified borrowers. Now there's not enough supply. Yeah. So your values, I don't care how many times Chairman Powell raised the rates, he's not going to lower the value. He's trying to lower inflation, but he's trying to lower the value. He's actually increasing the value. Yeah. Because it's making it more rare. I mean, it's kind of like not the same exact thing as like these crazy paintings that people buy, right? If it's so rare, then they spend more money on it. And so it's not enough inventory, it's rare. And so people are spending more money on it.
Absolutely.
And so I think our belief, and I struggle with that, being an entrepreneur. I know you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. We have to stay positive and be around positive people who you let in your group to be able to navigate through that. Yeah. Like how some of the things they gave us a lot of topics, so I'm excited. I'm gonna go through them. But that, I mean, I think we hit the positive mindset, makes a difference when we talk about going into that. And then you also, I think more opportunities come your way when you have a positive mindset. Yeah. And you got to kind of keep the people away from you that are very negative. You can help them, you can give them good word, but you gotta. But go ahead.
Yeah. I agree 100%. When it comes to actually looking at getting into the market, why would you keep on renting right now? I mean, the rent is going up, right? And then you also see the
rents up going up higher than the housing value.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like a rents are up like almost 6%.
Yes.
And then housing is like between 4.95. So your rent, and you don't get to write any of that off.
Right.
You have no. So let's say you rent a house that's 300,000. In 10 years, how much is that house worth? These are going to be obvious answers. I just want you to answer about it.
I would probably say, I mean, if it keeps going, I'll probably say 380.
380, 400, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you're renting a house. How much equity have you gained if you're renting?
You've got nothing.
Right, exactly. Zero, nothing.
Zero tax write-off.
Yeah, zero tax. So that's the difference, guys. We're having a little fun with this. So you're renting, your rate is 100%.
Yeah.
I think so. Let's go back to some of these questions though. Navigating bad info. I think we just hit that one. What's that other one that Leslie talked about here? That 420. False belief. And let's tackle that one. False belief that waiting will save money, and impending cash, false info, not realizing that refinances benefit later. I'll talk about the refinance part, but talk about the cost of what you just did that with your friend.
With my friend. That's exactly what it is. Like you're looking at, you got to understand, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow.
Yes.
That's basic economics. If you're spending money today, you're going to get more value tomorrow. Real estate is the only thing that you cannot make anymore. That's not being made more of. You could build houses, but land is not. God is not. Hey, I'm gonna put a new island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
We're not flying to Mars.
Like it's not.
Elon Musk.
He created the heaven and earth.
Right.
What's been here from the beginning is going to continue to stay here. So it's time for him to come back. So, but however, like you're looking at, you can get a property right now. Like I said, my friend could have got the house for $2 something, and now it's up by $45,000. Right.
So he lost. He
lost
$45,000.
$45,000 within. It's not even a full year.
Right.
Okay. We were talking during January, February, the same time I was buying my house. And sometimes you just have to like step out on faith and understand that no good thing will the Lord withhold from you if those who are upright before him.
I forgot you were a minister to pastor too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So he puts that in before you. You have to step out on faith.
Yeah.
And if you step out on faith, I mean, God will bless you. He will open up doors. He will set you up with the right team. Me and Brian.
It's Ramon that just put that in there too. Yeah.
So, I mean, because like you only get as your team. And I mean that like when it comes to understanding what you're getting yourself into, understanding that, you put in, you go put a house, you go put your offer in, right? Then you got to also talk about, you don't have to pay for an inspection fee, you pay for the attorney fee, you pay for an appraisal fee, those type of things. So you can get the back end and the front end, right? You want to understand what you're doing from the end to the beginning. So like God, he foretold the end since the beginning, right? So like, when I was rehabbing my homes, I realized I needed to actually look at how I'm gonna get out. What's my exit strategy? When I first buy the property, what's my exit strategy?
Well, you make your money when you buy.
Yeah, you make money.
Yeah, you make your money when you buy. Not the extra work and values and stuff that comes up, but that's when you make a decision that I'm gonna own, it's better than you renting and throwing money away.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking as an investor. For me, from investment, I was like, okay, what's my exit strategy? Am I going to refinance, cash out refinance? Am I going to sell the house? Am I going to rent it? Am I going to
flip it?
Do Illinois Housing Department, Section 8 or something? What am I going to do?
Right.
Because you need to make sure all your streams are open. So when you time to flow, you can go merely down that stream, like plain and simple. Otherwise, you'll roll into roadblocks and you're wondering why. What happened?
I mean, and I think it's knowledge that you can never. I mean, you can like it's just like you've been in this business. You learn so much over time. That helps you. Yeah. Absolutely. When we think about that second part about refinancing, or like she talked about that, is that that's another exit strategy. You mentioned that you have opportunity to refinance, take some cash out, and buy another one, right? Or the part where she talked about as far as Lizzie mentioned that about the false belief is that so we know that more than likely rates are going to come down within a year. It might take 18 months, somewhere around that time. But at the end of the day, if you're at one rate now and you're in equity, you can always redo it within a year later, year and a half, whatever that might be when that happens, you can lower your rate. So you're right about that. So the key is you buy now, gain the land, gain some property, build your net worth up, and then you find other ways to build wealth. It's about other properties.
And then when you're out there looking, and you got your pre-approval letter, right, from your mortgager, company,
me, right?
right? From Brian,
Yeah.
right? You want to also understand that, like, if you see a house that you like, go ahead and put an offer on it. And the thing is like there's contingencies inside the real estate process that will protect you, right? You have a 5-day attorney review period where the attorneys are going back and forth, but even that could be extended. Then you have a 5-day grace period to do an inspection. So you have 10 days to actually really sit there and think about the property, because a lot of times my clients, they'll sit there and they'll wait and they'll be like, I like the house. And then they'll change their mind and say, I don't want it. But then they come back, you know what? I think I like that house. I want to actually put an offer on it. And the house is snatched up. But if you can get it and you can go in there and get it under contract where it's yours, and then you say, okay, after you find out, the inspection and you did your homework, you can say, okay, yay or nay, and you can just exit out without having to, lose your earners money.
Yeah, I like that. So we got a couple more hiccups. I want to get to down payment. I want to talk about credit. Let's get that next question. Not knowing how to get the right team. We got to do that because it's the third time that came up.
Okay.
And then what's the big one? The big question Leslie put in there. I didn't see that one. Sellers not selling even though they don't like their home for fear of higher rates. Did an analysis of cash flow will be a huge win even with a higher rate. Pay off debt with equity and improve cash flow in spite of a higher mortgage rate. So that's a lot there to unpack, Leslie. I love what you said there.
That is.
So what she's saying is that in a situation, and I'm just gonna, and Leslie, you can correct me if I'm quoting you wrong. If you, let's say you're in that house, in let's say a $250,000 house, and you want to buy a $500,000 house.
Yeah,
make it easy math. And let's say, hey, I'm at a 4% interest rate or 3% interest rate. The rate's now in the 6s or low 7s. Okay, we think rates going to come down with you, but like I'm gonna have to bump up to a higher rate. Well, there are some opportunities because you're at all-time high equity that where you can probably do some debt consolidation or pay off the debt. Like let's say you got a car note that's $700 a month or $600 a month, and you got some credit card debt that's $500-$600 a month, and maybe there's some other debts, so installment loans. You may be able to pay off that debt. Okay, get the house that you want, which in turn is going to go up in value too.
Yeah.
Okay, and your payment hasn't changed that much because you did some debt consolidation. So that's some fancy way of doing things.
That's good.
But that's a way you can improve on a house and you're not stuck. That way you're not living in the house that you're settling on. Because right now, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
If I tell you, or if you told me that, hey, I said, Phil, you're my realtor. I said, dude, I want to buy a $600,000 house. I like this house. It's a 3-bedroom win, 250, and I got 4 kids. I don't really, guys. I have 3. Okay. I know it might sound like I have 4 kids when y'all call, but I have 3. But we need a bigger home.
Yeah.
This is an example of where, I'm like, hey, let's pay this off, pay that out. We can do an analysis for you, right? And then I'm like, hey, my cash flow is still the same. Let's go ahead and buy the nicer house. And I'm worth more now too, because that $500,000, yeah, plus Noah, thank you. Yeah, it's 4 of us. I forgot about that. Noah's my golden doodle. So it's 4 babies. So, that situation, we can now move up on a house,
right?
Because the debt that I had is gone away.
Yeah, that's good.
Right. And now I'm worth more. Because back then, if I'm in a $250,000 house and you sell it for $400,000, that means my net worth is $150,000. No, yeah, $150,000 more. Yeah. I'm not talking about all this. I'm just talking about the equity.
Right.
But if you put me in a $500,000 house, okay, and I put a nice down payment, I say I owe $350,000, $400,000, and that $500,000 house in turn is worth $600,000. My net worth just went up a lot more.
Absolutely.
So we're kind of like throwing numbers out there, but it's just a way of thinking about it, guys. In the same token, and there's nothing wrong with buying nice cars because I like nice cars too.
Yeah.
But if you do that with a car, okay, that's not the same thing because a lot of times cars don't go up in value.
No, it doesn't.
Houses do.
Yeah. Now,
in this weird 2020 market, 22, that cars did kind of maintain their value and go because their inventory was low. Okay, that's not going to continue always. But absolutely. You can upscale, you can upgrade in a house. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. Did I hit that right, Leslie? Is that what you were talking about? You were signing on me. Let's talk about knowing how to get the right team. You brought that up. Ramon brought it up.
Yeah.
Let's talk. What does that mean to you?
To me, is getting someone that that can get the job done, and knowing that they're going to take your feelings and thoughts into consideration. Because going to buy real estate is not necessarily for the weak, but it's for those who have a good team around them that brings support and make them stronger, right? So if you have an agent that's going to make sure they're walking around the house with you, like sometimes I let my clients, go out by themselves inside the house or whatever, And then I go back behind them and I'm looking for different things. I'm looking for tuck pointing. I'm looking for if there's water damage in the basement. Because I can smell it, right? So I've been in so many houses. When I walk into a house, I can smell if it's mold in the house. I can smell. I mean, I'm not saying it's 100% right, but I'm saying I can smell it. You can smell mold.
You've been in so many.
You can smell water damage, and then you can also look for water damage, right? And when you see it's like a good clear house, you have somebody that will put you in the right position so that you can get that property, and then also have a team that's not going to mess around. Your mortgage broker, that like Brian, is not going to mess around. I can tell you that I've been in deals with other people, and I had to do their job and my job. But when I gave my deals, which is why I work with Brian, is because I gave it to Brian, and when I followed up with him, he was, "Oh yeah, close date."
Doesn't happen that fast.
But I'm saying it was serious. It was like, oh,
no, I appreciate that.
I was talking with her, and she was like, I said, "Are you having any issues with the lender?" No, I'm asking her, the client.
Right.
Because if she don't have any issues, there's no reason for me to like necessarily step in.
Right.
And she was like, the whole transition was so smooth when it came to it, and I dealt with the listing agent, to make sure everything was teed up for her. So you need people that's going to be over communicating with you, because even sometimes when like my clients that send me some properties or whatever, and I'm looking, like today we were supposed to go out, and like out of the 3 properties that we sent, 2 of them under contract. You have to go back and check and say, okay, hey, this is under contract. What about this property? What about this other day? These other people who are going to let you see it on Tuesday at 4 p.m. What do you think? Do you want that one left? That's out there is left, or you want to just check another one because you like this one better? You just want to make sure that they're going to support you, because it's more than just about collecting a commission. And that's one of the reasons my passions when it comes to real estate is to make sure that no one's getting taken advantage of, because I've been taken advantage of before, and it's not fun.
No.
So because of that, I treat people as if it's me.
Yeah, I mean, you want to make sure. I always say I want everyone to get a fair shake.
Yeah,
that's all it is. I mean, what that means to me, it just means that because so many different people they treat you like you're just a number. I posted that on my business page, and we talk about the difference between a local lender and a big lender. And we're top 10 mortgage company. It's not that we still have that small feel.
Yeah.
I truly believe that every single person deserves the opportunity of home ownership. Doesn't mean it's always the right time. So we'll help you, put you in the right situation. And since you gave me a humble brag, I'm gonna definitely give you one. So I'll say we make 4 basic promises: close on time, no surprises at closing, treat you like family, the family that you like, and we communicate with you weekly when you're under the process. So that's really, we build our whole business model off of those things. And obviously, I love what Leslie said there is this: do you bring me joy? Exactly. And I evaluate relationships all the time. If it's a strain, I'm like, look, life's too short. It goes by so fast. Yeah. You don't need to work with people that's going to be draining on you and taking life out of you. Because again, we're only here for a few days. Yeah. But that's my philosophy and how we do business. So communication is the number one. I think I heard you say communication in the last couple of minutes like 5 times. Mm-hmm. It's the number one thing. But we just block off like 4 or 5 hours on Tuesday, and we just update everyone. And I know it's boring. You're probably used to getting that call like, all right, Brian, what do you want now? But it's something that we believe in, and we don't just do it when it's hot topic. This is just something that we put in our practice. And I'm not always the one making that call. Sometimes it's my processor, but we just believe in updating everyone, letting them know what's going on, so we don't put your earnest money in jeopardy. Right? Yeah,
and I check with my client, like after we've seen so many homes, I'm like, okay, let's have a heart to heart. Let's figure out what are the things you're seeing that you like, what are the things you don't like, what are the things you would like, and I'm like, okay, what can we bring into make your dreams come true? Because that's the whole purpose, is to get you a house. And that you will be able to call home, and then you can have your family or friends over for Thanksgiving and the holidays, right? So
create some good memories. I mean, if you think about home, what that means to you, I love seeing children grow up with more stability when they're in a home. There's so much that we can unpack there, and not trying to go down that road particularly, but it's going back to what I said at the beginning about helping everyone. But particularly, we talked about minority ownership being down, is that. Look, we can't tap out. Oh, they asked me to verify a deposit in my bank account, and I don't want to give it that. So I'm going to throw my hands in the air. You guys, come on. Yeah. It's not the same as buying a car, okay? When you buy a car, you really don't need anything. Sometimes they don't ask you for your pay stub. Yeah. But this is just something that you have to do. And if it's worth building wealth, right? You know, as soon as you buy that car, again, I like nice cars. I'm not telling people don't buy a car. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. As soon as you buy that car, it goes down. As soon as you buy your house, you say, well, how much did you go up? 4 months later.
Yeah, we're 260, 315.
Yeah. So that's
we're gonna add we're gonna add a bathroom. That's gonna be
right. So I mean, man, it's completely different story. So when you think about those types of stuff, this is how you build wealth. This is one way you do. You know, I think this is a step. You know, we can talk about investment properties. I think you're giving some good information. But one of the reasons I have Phil on my show. What's up, Marlon? Tonight, man. I love Marlon, man. You know what? I'm look at my ADD kicks in. Marlon is the guy that used to come by our school all the time when I was in high school. Long time ago. So Marlon, I'm gonna tell you. And he just one of those motivational people, man. He helped us for colleges and stuff like that. So it's always good to see my buddy here, Marlon. But you know, so hi, brother. So I had to stop there. But a lot of people know him. But I think. Yeah, it was A.S. McKinley, right? He came in and did all this stuff. A lot of people know who he was. But here's the thing. So when you talk about that part, the wealth building part, you know, that's something that just get glossed over so much. And there's so much people fight, like you hear a lot of people fight when someone dies, but this is actually gonna be a blessing, especially if you're able to get multiple homes or multiple people owning homes. This is how you build wealth. It's one way you do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be left out. Yes, sir. Anything you want to add on the investor side? I know that's a big piece of yours.
I mean, as far as like, you know, if like right now the market is tough, you can't find a single family home, right?
Not enough.
Right. Why not look at like getting a four flat, 4 units, right? Or getting a 2 unit, or get what we call house hacking, right? And you end up allowing them to pay your mortgage or give you a contribution towards your mortgage.
Go over that again because I heard that term before, but I know everyone doesn't catch on to that. So house hacking, come on.
So pretty much house hacking is pretty much where you take and you live in 1 unit and you rent out the other units, and those other units, let's say it's 4 units, 3 units goes towards your mortgage, and you should have a little bit left over. You know, your whole purpose is that you want to be able to decrease your expenses but increase your income, right? And
sounds like a good thing to me.
Yeah, and that's how you get your net operating income, right? And you take that divided by the value of your home, and that gives you your cap rate, right? So if you get, let's say, give you you have income coming of $100,000 a year, and your property's worth $1 million. That's a 10% cap rate, right? So you divide 100,000 divided by $1 million, and that gives you your 10% cap rate. You really want to try to get as much of the higher cap rate as possible when you're buying, but when you're selling, you want to make it lower, right? You want to make sure that you have made the investments into the property. Like you're making this extra money, just make sure you keep the upkeep of the hallways, right, of the common areas. You know, make sure, like, I mean, you may not, you know, update like the full bathroom and the kitchen, but, you know, just, you know, make sure it's still clean in the place, that whether it's like refinishing the floors or adding something to the kitchen to add value to the property, that's going to make your value go up. So by the time, let's say, the market comes back down and you're like, okay, now I've been making money for a whole year. I took an FHA loan, so I had to stay in the property for a year. Now I'm ready to go do my own thing, but I still want to keep this property as income because this could help me pay for my other property on top of that, right? So you go do that and you say, okay, I got all 4 of my units ready, and now I found me my own place. And because of the fact that you show proof that you can make payments, that doesn't necessarily count against you, right?
No, so it's good that you said that. So if you qualify without us looking at your tax returns, meaning that you qualify for the building and we can hit you for the full mortgage payment, then we don't care. Yeah. But if we have to look at your tax returns, and this is key, guys, this is key, because a lot of times accountants like to write everything off, or you like to write everything off. Don't do that. So if you write everything off, now we're looking to these specialty loans and all that stuff. But if you could show positive cash flow and keep your regular income, so basically what I mean is something like this. Let's say you make $80,000 a year, and now you're making like $2,000 a month from the rental income,
right?
Just like your example. So now let's keep that together. So $8,000 or $80,000. I'm doing my math wrong. $6,400 a month, and plus the $2,000. Now it helps you qualify for more.
Yeah.
So if you write off, if you go a lot, what happens a lot of times you make $80,000 a year. Plus the $2,000, and there's I had an empty unit, I had to fix the property up, I had to do all this stuff, and then you show a negative $50,000 in income.
Right.
Guess what? You don't qualify for nothing. So,
so you want to be in it for the long haul,
right,
and not for the short term.
Right. Yes, 100%. And if you do that, There you go, Leslie, 100%. If you do that, you're gonna turn around and not be able to buy more. But if you do it the right way, now you can build more streams of income, more properties.
Yeah.
And so that's how you do things. And then again, you talk to an accountant. There's other ways you can get property investments and hide some things in your LLC or trust and things of that nature to make it better for you tax wise. Yeah. But the key is, I'm gonna tell you something. Before you bought the 4-unit, you was in a terrible tax situation. You had no property. You got the 4-unit. But once you continue to build on that and build wealth that way,
because people don't really recognize like the whole the way the code has been changed. When they came and they changed the code, it's not like it used to be. We all know that. We see it when we get our income tax back. But if you have an LLC, you have a business, you're gonna get that money back that you were getting before. So like, there's a reason why they say get a business, and you saw people benefited from that.
Yeah,
during COVID.
Well, we're not going down that road because there's a lot of people that's taking money they shouldn't have.
Yeah, you had people that did that.
A lot of people in Cook County going, wrong place. Say they were that PPP money, whatever.
Hey,
But again, I hope this is helpful. It does. It does work good for VA buyers. And let's talk about VA buyers. It's you can use you can do 100% financing on VA.
Right.
They want you to have reserves and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we just did one. We actually did a housewarming for this guy. He closed on his VA unit without having to put down a lot of money. And then he was able to get into that property, and now he's got good cash flow. Right. It's so weird how rents have gone up. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna tell you where he bought at, but I was just there Saturday. He's collecting rent for the other unit for $2,200. Which is, you think about rent, man, and I think the unit's about 1,400 square feet.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much covering most of the mortgage, not all. His mortgage payment is like $3,000 some dollars. He's bought a nice place. Yeah. But at the end of the day, look at what he's paying basically now, $1,300, $1,200. Now, if he decides to move out and buy another house or use his VA again, which is again one of my favorite loans to do, now he's got good cash flow. You get $2,200, that's $4,400, and his mortgage payment is $3,100. That's good business.
Yep. You put a third of that up.
Yeah.
For incidentals.
There you go. That, and that's what it's all about. So we think about that house hacking and all those types of things. This is how you grow and build wealth, man. And it's going to continue to grow. And if you look at this long term, it's not about getting rich. This is all about long term investments. Let's look at this over 20 years, over 15 years. Right. Yes, the value went up those 2 years astronomically, right? Yeah. But think about, what if you paid a little extra, you paid that place off in 20 years? And now that's all cash flow. Or that place that you paid, let's say it's worth $400 or $500, now it's worth $600. You can turn around and sell it, and you made all that money.
Because they say if you make one extra payment,
you knock about 6 years off your mortgage.
Okay.
If you do 2, I always used to call it 2 and 18. You do 2, you're done in 18 years. Here's my only difference, I haven't said this in a while. That's something I should have coined that phrase. I've been saying it for the longest. I don't believe you should do that until you're saving. So my philosophy is 10% to giving, tithes and offering, 10% to savings, 10% to investing. After that, and you're able to consistently put up 20% of your income and you're building, then you send extra. It depends on how old you are, right? I mean, but the thing is, just like you're paying off that house fast, the thing that we talk about as far as building wealth is called time and interest, compounded interest or compounded appreciation. Yeah. Your house is going to go up in value. So if you're taking that extra 10%, and you're putting it up into an investment account, whether it's a 401k or it's an investment, that's growing for you. Money doubles every 7 to 8 years. Yeah. So if you're taking that difference, and then 15, 20 years from now, here's the question. And I ask people this, because people get on me all the time and say, hey, pay off early, or do the Dave Ramsey thing, pay it off for 15 years. Do both if you can, but don't kill yourself.
Absolutely.
Answer this question for me. And everybody might have a different, there's no wrong answer. If I gave you a poll, in 20 years, would you rather have a paid off house, or would you rather have $500,000? Because here's the thing, if you're on a 30-year mortgage, that means, let's say you never sent the extra payment up, you're going to have 10 years left on the mortgage. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I have $500,000 or 10 years left on your mortgage. But that goes together. $500,000, 10 years left, or 20 years.
Well, I mean, you probably take, the mortgage would probably be the ideal route to go. But I don't know. I see why most people take the $500,000 though.
No. Here's why. Because you only have 10 years left.
Yeah.
And if I got to have, because the thing is, too many times what I see from people when I look at the older generation, they don't have any money. They have a house that's almost paid off, but there's no money.
Yeah.
What happened in 2008? Guys, history repeats itself, right? 2008, if you had your house paid off, unless you did a reverse mortgage, right? And the values of how banks weren't giving out loans, right?
Right.
If you had your house paid off and you had no job, can we touch the equity? No. Unless you sold it. Whereas you have a 10-year mortgage, but you could do a combination of both. So like, let's say, again, you could choose between them both. You can say, hey, I'm going to send in one extra payment to principal, but I'm going to make sure I'm stacking my investment, letting that opportunity cost grow, that appreciation in my 401k, in my investments, in my mutual funds. Now I've got assets.
Absolutely.
Right. So that might be $1 million in 20 years instead of that. So that it's still, and you can live off the interest. So that's what we've so many times that we can get a financial planner. As a matter of fact, I am going to get on here is that a lot of times we work on our jobs for 20 years, or they give us a severance package to leave early. They give us 300, 400,000, say, okay, go leave. We use all that money, we take the lump sum and taking that money and then reinvesting it and letting it grow for us. Because the growth, again, it's the same philosophy.
Yeah, you put it. Yeah, you take that money.
Right.
It's the same thing.
And live off the interest. Live off the interest. But you can still pay the house off. I'm not saying don't pay the house off. Yeah. I'm just saying that do that after you do the other three things. You know,
makes sense. That makes sense.
Because that's one thing that bothers me a little bit. Is that so many times when I look at people's financials, and you see people not having any money.
Right.
And that, and the value of the dollar, it can change. But at the end of the day, you build wealth using a combination of things, not just using one.
Right.
But I do like 2 and 18 only if you can do the other three things. And the giving to God is to bless the other stuff. So I don't get religious on people, but we're on a Christian radio station. I can say that the 10% you give to God takes care of the other money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'm a witness to that.
Yeah. Amen. 100%. There you go again, Leslie. 100%. That's a word I took from her. So she's take the 500K. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I like both, and I used to be that. I used to be that guy like, hey, give me this. I'm just going to work my butt off and pay everything off fast.
Yeah.
That's how we were taught. Pay cash. Pay. And again, I'm not saying go into debt, because debt's not good either. But how can we turn around and build wealth if we're not looking at all the avenues? Compounded interest, or I get people that experienced 2008 that lost money, or experienced 2020 that lost some money. Everybody, let's go back to history real quick. COVID happened, right? When COVID happened, lenders were scared to lend, right? We were all nervous. The stocks were not doing well, right?
Yeah.
Then it started doing well, right?
Yep.
Then it started going up, right?
Absolutely.
So we really didn't lose money.
You only lose when you sell.
That's true. Well, right. Well, it depends. Right. So look at that. Ron, I'm not preaching, man. I'm just trying to I want to give some information out there so we can be smart about it. We don't save enough. Yeah. We don't save and invest enough. And sometimes the cost of living is much harder, but pay God and pay yourself like it's a bill.
Yeah.
Pay yourself like it's a bill. And don't put your trust in money, because at the end of the day, I mean, it can mess you up. But I don't mean to go down this road. It's just something that I'm passionate about. Pay yourself like it's a bill. You do that, pay God.
You don't feel shortchanged.
Well, it's easier
if you pay yourself.
It's easier, I think, to go to work and do whatever you do with having a few months of money in the bank than it is having that stress on you. You're going to get stressed no matter what. Like we talked about Psalms 1 earlier. You put the wrong counsel around you and the wrong team. Yeah. This, that. It's draining, man. It's a drain. You don't want to be drained. You want to be able to help people and keep keep an arm's length from people that's not thinking the same way.
Absolutely.
Man, we do this 4:53.
Went by pretty quickly.
I mean, we haven't hit a couple things. So look, I want to touch base on them, and then we'll start closing at like 4:56, 4:57. I appreciate everyone. Thank you, Ramon, for saying that. Leslie participating. Share, guys. Marlon, it's so good. But I'm gonna tell you why you're on here. It was really cool seeing you come by the school all the time, and you gave some good information out there. Now I got a senior that's looking at colleges and stuff like that. It's hilarious. But no, I think this is important stuff. We're talking about buying a home. There are down payment and grants out there for you. That's one of the things that we hear about a lot. Down payment. There are some grants out there. There's programs out there. We talked about the new one we got where we give 1% buy down for you. We'll buy down the rate the first year. This is a conventional loan, and we give you up to $5,000 grant, and we give you payment protection. So if for some reason, you should refinance probably within a year, you're able to refinance without paying lender costs. So there's some benefits to that, and we'll do that 1% buy down for you. What that means, basically, if you're doing a conventional loan, if your rate's 7.25%, you would get 6.25% that first year until the rates come down. But there are some grants out there. I don't know if we got credit to talk about. I don't think we have enough time. You want to touch on that real quick?
Credit.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're buying, you want to make sure your credit. If you're gonna do FHA, I'll probably say. I mean, you could do 580, but like you're gonna have to come with extra money as a down payment.
Premium on that rate,
right?
Cost.
But I think around 640, 650 or something like that is ideal when it comes to getting a loan.
Get an FHA
loan. You
can
speak to that better than I can, but yeah, from what I'm seeing, and also just don't make any big purchases. Don't I mean, if don't go buy a new car. I got a client now that went and bought a new car before she went house searching. And
I got one that's going to buy one tomorrow or today. She just closed. She's like, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, do it after. Do it after the
close.
Yeah, do it after. Because I mean, you can make it for 30 or 45 days to get that, so you can get what you really want. You want that house. So
you want to buy some more.
If you want to buy a car, you adding a hindrance to your own walk.
I almost said 100% again. So like with credit, I would say you want to make sure that you're completely transparent.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to verify rent. There's things that come up. Guys, I mean, it's so important that you cross your T's and dot your I's. And we are going to look at those things, but it's so important that you're transparent and you're honest with us, because not Absolutely. Being honest or not maybe leaving something out that can hurt you or hinder you from getting a buy home. We don't make money, or we don't put a smile on our face. You don't bring us joy when we can't do a loan for you. So it's Absolutely. Important that, we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's, and we getting all this stuff up front, so we're able to take care of you. But sometimes stuff comes up. So those are things I would just suggest, don't beat your lender up, whether it's me or someone else, if we ask you to track your deposit. Listen, I don't make the rules. It's not, so it amazes me how I don't care how much money somebody makes or doesn't make. It's like they, I want to use a word, I'm not going to use it. my Peter side's going to come out of me. They itch and complain about things. I'm like, just make it easy and give us what we need so we can bring you to the closing table.
Yeah.
That really, honestly, when you get done doing all that rapping and happening and all that stuff, you end up getting into it.
And get into them in a timely manner.
Oh, God. Say that again.
And because I had a client that a couple years back that was we were there. She just didn't want to go on IRS website. I said, I'll be there with you. Come into the office. Let's do this right now. And we can get this paper and we give it to the lender. If you give them what they need and get it in a time sensitive, I want to say in a good time, you will be able to close quicker. If you begin to say, I'm tired of this, I'm tired. Why does he keep asking me for the same thing over and over
again? We're not really asking for
it's not for the same thing.
Now, some people do because they lose stuff.
It's not that they're asking for something, back to back for the same thing. It's like, every month you have new pay stubs. Okay. So you need to turn those in.
Sometimes you're not working the same 40 hours you were last time, because that changed it. Yeah. Oh, I was out hanging out with Buku. I'm being funny, but it's important. You guys, you keep everything the same. Yeah. I agree. Man, this was fun. Yeah. It went by super fast, right?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So I appreciate all the guests for jumping in and asking it. You guys, that was amazing. It does make it go by. If this was beneficial to you, please share, tell people about it. And do more. We want to grow our audience a little bit here and be able to give out some good, solid information. Phil, what's the best way for people to reach you?
I would say email philip.owens@cbrealty.com.
Okay, philip.owens
at CB
Realty
Cat Bravo Realty.com.
Cool. Yeah, he's with Coldwell Banker. He'll take really good care of you. An honest, upfront, upright agent that's going to give you some good information. Yeah. And as always, I truly believe that homeownership is the way you begin to start building wealth. We talked about a lot of other things outside of that. There's other things, but I think that's a start. And if you do those things, it'll help impact you. This is a long-term building wealth strategy. This is not, you win the lottery. The chances you win the lottery is low. But I can tell you, if you do these couple things, you buy a home, if you buy an investment property, and you just get in the game. Even if you don't buy nothing else with those two, you put your family in a better situation when you do pass on. The Bible talks about a good man leaves an inheritance for his family.
Absolutely.
And I truly believe it's not just, there's knowledge, wisdom in there, but there is finance in there. You guys can't just say, oh, that's spiritual. He's talking about that's spiritual, but he's talking about money too. He's talking about finances, because you should put them in a better situation. Where to be an example. So this is one way how you leave an inheritance for your family. So, and you can start by doing more there. So I would say it's never too late. You can start just by getting a home and being in the buy and take care of those things. So
Yes.
we'd like to be the ones to help you with that. Reach out to us. Love to talk to you about it. Brian Sewell here with Cherry Creek Mortgage. You can reach me at 630-352-0629. That's 630-352-0629, or apply online at our website at mytrustedprovider.com, mytrustedprovider.com. I look forward to seeing you. You guys have a blessed evening.
Yes. Have a good one.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago.